We are blessed. We are prosperous. Yes. Hi, everybody. We're in week 7 of our Prosperity series, Prosperity Plus, Harnessing Your Invisible Power by Mary Morrissey. We've been having a good time. Let's take a minute. Everybody stand for me. If you can. If you can't, that's okay too. Feet shoulder width apart. Hands on your hips. Chin up. Superhero pose. Woo! Take a minute and take that in. All right. Now turn to somebody next to you and say, I'm a superhero. I'm a superhero. Because you are a superhero. Each and every one of you are a superhero. We have power within us to manifest whatever we want our life to be. If that's not a superpower, I don't know what is. So our third principle is thoughts help in mind, produce and manifest in their kind, produce in their kind. Thoughts that we hold will create our experience. Sometimes it's said that we co-create with God through the thoughts that we have, our feelings, and our beliefs. How many of you really believe that? Believe that our thoughts have something to do with our lives? Yes. Okay. Second question. How many of you woke up this morning and consciously created your future? Yeah. Not quite as many?
Within the hour.
You know, Joe Dispenza. You guys recognize that name? He was in What the Belief. Oh. You guys ever see that movie? Anyway, he says that the number one reason why people do not get up in the morning and automatically start creating consciously their future is because they don't really believe it. He says that if they really did believe it, why would you ever let a day go by that you didn't consciously create your future? Why would you not do that if you truly believe that you have the power to do that? So he says, mostly it's because people don't believe it. I say that a great deal of it for myself personally is sometimes I forget. Now, my morning prayer is always about forming my future, always. I've been in that practice for a very long time. My morning prayers are always about manifesting my future for that day, always. And it puts me in the frame of mind as if it is already happening. I'm already in that living space. It's great. And then I step out the door. And from that point, anything could happen. Right? As long as I'm all by myself, life is good. But sometimes I have to interact with folks and I forget. I forget that what's happening out here does not control my life. Our brains are a box of history, our history. Our brains have collected everything that we've experienced, thought, believed, everything that we've been through is in our brain. And if you get up in the morning and you get out of bed, you go and push the button on the coffee maker, you go into the bathroom, you look in the mirror, you brush your teeth the same way you've always done it, you take a shower and you do the same process that you always do while you're bathing, you get prepared, you do everything the same, walk out the door, take the same drive to work that you always take, that you've been taking for the last decade. You see the same people that you always see, they push the same buttons every day, regardless. You come home in the evening, you watch the same things that you DVR'd, just to get to bed in time so you can get up in the morning and do the same thing all over again. Has your brain gathered any new information at all?
No.
None. Zero. It already knows that pattern. It has learned nothing new. What our brain does is, as we give it information, we tell it positive things. We have a positive thought, and it generates chemicals in our brain which send information to our body, tells us exactly how we're supposed to feel about it. Then those feelings make us have more thoughts, which cause more chemical reaction, which cause more feelings and actions. And it works the exact same way with negative information. The chemical reaction's a little bit different, but still you have a thought. I'm unworthy. She doesn't like me. I'm not sure if I'm going to get what I want. I'm afraid I'm going to lose something that I have, or I'm afraid somebody's going to find out something about me. That causes a chemical reaction in my brain too. And it tells my body, I'm afraid. And so we go into fight, flight, or freeze, right? And then every time, if we don't interrupt that pattern, every time we see that experience, have that thought, our body goes into its memory. You know, we talk about body memories all the time when we're talking about abuse issues. You have to work through all of that. We have wonderful energy healers here that work with us every week. We're very blessed with that. And they help a lot with energy that you've stored up in your body and body memory that happens on a negative issue. But you also store up positive body memories. You know, how many of you have a very particular meditation practice or prayer practice every day? You go sit in the same chair, you light the same candle, you put on the music, and it doesn't take but a nanosecond. As you get close to that chair, right about the time for your meditation, you go to sit down, and your body goes, oh yes, I remember. This is what I do now. Right? So we have that wonderful gift of body memory and give and take with our brain and our body. The Concord Code, we're going to go way into it, more on Wednesday night. I'm not going to get into it much today. I'll just tell you that the bottom line of the Concord Code is knowledge. The code to changing your consciousness, the code to manifesting more of what you want in your life is about producing new information for your brain. Knowledge, information. So, simple things like don't watch the DVR of Survivor. Listen to a podcast. Don't go home and watch hours of political information that makes you nuts. Why do that? Make a decision today that you're going to go work on a campaign. Done. You have an action statement for that. Sitting at home, listening to hours of it and getting angst and upset. And why? Make a decision of something you can actually do about it. And then make some happy time for your brain, for your body, for your life. Listen to a podcast. Go out to dinner with a friend. Listen to some classical music. Whatever. Do something different. A lot of us wait until we have some kind of crisis, and I think we talked about that a little bit last week. We wait until we have some kind of crisis in order to make that huge shift in our consciousness. But we don't have to. We don't have to wait for the pain to come. We can actually make change in joy by making a conscious thought about your future. Do something today that scares you. Do something every day that scares you. That'll shift your consciousness. And it'll also show you that you really do have everything that you need to move forward and be productive and prosperous and abundant in your life. Yay! What a great thing.
Yay.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's my water.
I have a video that I want to show you real quick. Hey, before you start the video, Alex, let's all give Alex a round of applause. He's, Yay, Alex. I have to tell you that everything was working great right up until 11:01. Right up to my pack. I mean, when he handed it to me, the batteries were working great. When I went to turn it on, they were gone. So he's been having a great morning, and we love you, we appreciate you, and now I'd like you to watch this video. Yay. Powerful stuff, right? Yeah. And we're talking about you can change anything. Like if you're not used to paying attention to what you're paying attention to, if you're not used to thinking about what your thoughts are, then change something else. Change the decision, like I said, about what you're watching on television, what you're doing in the evening. Take a different drive to work. Start changing up who you are and what you do. But I think most of us here are on a level where we can pay attention to what our thoughts are. And we can start telling ourselves, I'm going to quit saying, I am afraid. I am not going to get that. I can't afford that. We can't go. I mean, there's a million times in a day that we have the opportunity to make a different decision about what it is that we're thinking. And it's about everything. There's a million healings in the Bible. Jesus heals all kinds of folks. Not a million, but you know what I'm saying. There's lots of healing in the Bible. And my favorite is John 9. It's the man that's sitting by the water and he's blind and he doesn't ask Jesus for help. Jesus is trying to give a lesson to his disciples, and as usual, the disciples didn't quite get it. And he's like, okay, I'm going to tell you one more time. And he walks over and he makes mud and puts it in the guy's eyes. And this guy, he doesn't ask anything. He's just sitting there and suddenly somebody's putting mud in his eyes and he's blinded by the... And he tells him, now get up and go to the water and rinse your eyes. And when he does, he can see. And everybody talks about that and how important that is and the lesson that he's trying to teach the disciples. And it's a wonderful lesson. But I cannot read that without being more fascinated by what happens to the blind man after Jesus and his disciples leave. The blind man isn't even recognized anymore by his parents. His parents can't even say that, yeah, for sure that's him. He has changed so drastically by the simple action of, yes, you can go to the water, rinse your eyes, you can see. Boom! He is a new man, instantaneously. Nobody even recognizes him anymore. I grew up in a violently angry, alcoholic home, so my habit was to wake up angry. I woke up angry most of my childhood. And I remember the day, the very day, in early adulthood or late teenage years, that I woke up one day and said, no, wait just a doggone minute. Why am I so angry every day? Nothing I remember the very day I made that decision. And I have woken up in a good mood absolutely every single day since then. Because there is no good reason not to. Now, sometimes, over the years, maybe I was only in a good mood for a short period of time, but I was no longer waking up angry. And I tell you, my younger sister, did not recognize me at all. Because I was always mad at her. Always. And suddenly, all of a sudden, I'm not. Because I made a different decision. I don't remember the catalyst for that decision. I don't. God-given, whatever it was. But I very specifically remember the day, and I remember the thought that it is time now for me to stop waking up mad. I was going to say something else, but it was time for me to make a different decision. And I did. And it completely altered my life. And it turned me into a completely different person that nobody close to me even recognized. And honestly, still to this day, they don't really trust that I'm, they don't. I trained them for a number of years on what a grumpy thing I was going to be. So, anyway, it can be done. We can be reborn. Don't you love that word? Reborn. That's such a scary word. I love to do things like that to desensitize you from things that, might have scared us in our early religious upbringing. Being reborn is a wonderful gift, and we can do it multiple times a day. We can make a decision multiple times a day to not act the way we would normally act. We can make that decision every single day. So, I would like to invite you all for the next 30 days. Put a little note by your bed. Give yourself a little video wake-up call. Say, consciously create your future. Before you start your day, consciously create your future. Feel what that's going to feel like to be bold and prosperous and to be living out your superheroism every day. And then remember, if you slide back, then you can always make a decision to come right back to that good feeling again. But make a conscious decision for the next 30 days that you are going to wake up and make a conscious decision about what your future is going to look like that day. And tell me if it doesn't radically change your life. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day.